I'd like to welcome everyone and to our September 2022 Jackson County Commission meeting. And at this time, I'd like to call our meeting to order. We'd like to ask Ms. Johnson, our Assistant County Administrator, please call the roll to establish a quorum.
Yes. Commissioner Rich, Commissioner Venable, Commissioner Buckner,
Present.
Commissioner McBride.
Present. We do have a quorum. I would like everyone to please stand, and I would like Mr. Ford, our County Attorney, to please offer our invocation, and Commissioner McBride to please lead our Pledge of Allegiance.
Let's pray. God our Father, we're truly thankful for this day, as we are every day. We're thankful for the sunshine that we have and the beautiful weather. We're thankful for labor as we begin the Labor Day weekend. We're thankful for the ability to labor. We're thankful for the labor that is produced and the goods that are produced, the conveniences are made because of that labor. God, we pray that everything we do will be pleasing to you. We pray you watch over us and guide us, keep us safe, keep us healthy. In Christ's name, amen.
Amen.
Salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
In your packets, you have the agenda for today's meeting. There are a number of items in new business that we will need to vote on, and there are a couple of just update discussions that we have scheduled for our work session today. We will go into a short executive session. At the conclusion of our work session, it will be to discuss status of some contract negotiations that we're currently working. With that, do I have a motion to approve the agenda for our 2 September Commission meetings?
I make that motion that we approve the agenda.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Do we have a second? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you very much. Do we have any awards presentations today? None signed up. Any public comment? We have no public comment for today. So with that, we will move into our new business. First, the minutes of our August the 8th, 2022 meeting. They are in your packet. Do I have a motion to adopt the minutes from the August 8th, 2022 meeting?
I make that motion that we adopt the minutes from August 8, 2022.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any discussion? If no discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you very much. In our last work session, our Director of Public Works, Mr. Campbell, briefed us on the Public Works annual bids that have been received and been assessed. That list is in your packet with the recommendations that are being made by our Director of Public Works. Do I have a motion to approve the Public Works annual bids for FY 2023?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I second that.
We have a second. Any discussion or questions?
Yes, Mr. Campbell, on the ones with no bids, is that just open for at the price, or do we have to bid those out before we buy those?
So the two items that are listed as no bid that we typically see bids on, ready-mix concrete and concrete pipe. The same thing happened with concrete pipe last year. Ready-mix is a new one. So there were a couple reasons that we anticipate that occurred. The primary reason is basically because there are low volumes of these things purchased throughout the course of the year and the volatility that exists right now in the market. So our plan going forward would be to solicit quotes when these items are needed, and then follow the thresholds that exist with the bid law.
Okay. No further
Any
questions.
other question? No further question. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you very much. We've had two hiring committees that have been involved over the last couple of weeks. and both have recommendation letters in your packet. First is recommendations for 2 vacant custodian positions in our maintenance department. Both letters with the individuals recommended for selection are in your packet. Do I have a motion to approve the hiring committee's recommendation for vacant custodian position in maintenance department?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Any discussion? If no discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you very much. Also, in your packet is a recommendation from hiring committee for a vacant administrative assistant position in the commission office. That letter is in your packet. This is an internal hire from within our county employees and family. Do I have a motion to approve hiring committee's recommendation for vacant administrative assistant in the commission office?
Yeah, I'll make that recommendation that we accept the hiring committee's recommendation.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second. Any discussion? If no discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you very much. Next, for new business, this is an annual renewal that we make with Southern Health Partners for inmate medical care. Their letter for their FY23 contract is in your packet. It is consistent with our previous contracts and annual contracts that we have had with Southern Health Partners. So it's for a new contract year to provide inmate health services at the jail. It also addresses a 3% annual increase on the base fee and the per diem rate that will be needed for our 2022-2023 period, consistent with previous years of 3% annual increase. And that is to address higher operating expenses. You see in the letter the based annualized fee, the per diem rates for greater than 210 inmates, and the annual outside cost pool rates that they have. And those are consistent with previous contract that we have signed. With that, do I have a motion to approve jail contract with Southern Health Partners for inmate medical care?
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion to have a second.
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
Yeah, question, Rocky, are you familiar with this? I'm just curious, does this pertain to healthcare that where people, the providers coming into the jail, so that, or does this include if we have to transport them to the hospital?
Mr. Buckner, that only counts for inside the jail care.
Okay.
If they have to go for other procedures, there may be additional expenses.
Okay.
Okay, any further questions or discussion? If none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you very much. Next, in your packet, you really have 3 sheets of paper that address our closeout with the Jackson County Water Authority for our contract and partnership with them for the water project in the Wanville area. First, you have a resolution to authorize amendment to the allocation of the American Rescue Plan Act funds for eligible water infrastructure project. Then you have an amendment to the sub-recipient agreement that we had with them, and then amendment to the agreement. We started addressing this nearly a year ago, and at this point, the water project has been completed. They have notified the citizens, and they are taking orders for water hookups. We had started this out with a position that the County Commission had approved to fund up to $586,000. 66% of that, the total project cost would have been $586,980. At the completion of the project has come in under that budget amount, and the total project cost is closing at $575,683.51. So it did come in not by a lot, nearly $11,000, but it did come in under our projected budget requirement. So the amendment addresses the change in price, as well as addresses then our share of that at 66%. Our share of that total cost of $575,000+ is $379,951.12. And again, that is under what had been previously estimated as our share of the price. With that, do I have a motion to approve and sign a resolution to authorize the amendment to the allocation of American Rescue Plan Act funds for eligible water infrastructure projects?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
Yes, I want to thank everybody involved in this. This was a much needed project. I'm glad that it's finally come together. I can't imagine what these folks were living through trying to use what they were. So this is a great step forward, and thankful for it.
Yeah, just to comment, I'd like to thank the citizens of the Laurel area for bringing this to our attention last year, and also the Jackson County Water Authority for working with us on this. And they have worked hard to meet their obligations with this project. And so we are certainly happy to see that we are, as Commissioner Buckner says, getting clean drinking water to these families in that area. We'll also add that we are working with other water authorities to provide matching funds for grants that they may get, though that period of grant is not complete yet, but to help match and get other areas of lack of clean drinking water addressed in our county. So, yes, sir.
I was going to say something along the same lines. When Governor Ivey spoke this morning, the first thing that she recognizes the importance of a person or people having clean drinking water, and that how important that was to the whole family. And we realize there are other people out there in Jackson County that are in need of water as well, and let us assure you that we're going to be looking at ways to get there. It may take a while, but that's our focus, to get everybody at some time drinking water.
Okay, well, thanks. And thanks to the commissioners for working this through this year. So with that, no further discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you very much. That is the last of our items in our new business portion of the meeting. We just have a couple of areas just to bring up to date for discussion in our work session. First is in commission food pantry discussion. We recently had some requests to provide some funding in support of food pantries. The commission, when we looked at available American Rescue Plan Act funds, we agreed to set aside some money for consideration to assist food pantries. We're recognizing that through the pandemic, and as we come out of the pandemic, there's been a great need for increased assistance in food support across our county, and that has put a burden on a number of our food pantries. We have sought information on a number of food pantries. Right now, I have a list of about 18 food pantries in the county. I'm not sure that we have a complete list of food pantries in the county. And so looking at how we would address and support food pantries with American Rescue Plan Act funding, the final bill and plan for American Rescue Plan Act provides some provisions for that. Number one, they have to be a 501(c) to be able to receive federal funds. Or they can be a 501(c) 19 tax exempt organization to receive funds. The impact has to be shown in nonprofits. Those impact could be from decreased revenues. For example, during the pandemic, they may have received less donations or less income revenue that they had previously received. Or they may have had increased costs because of increased demand, therefore driving up the cost of food to support the communities. Those are two reasons that can be supported with American Rescue Plan funding to support our food pantries. But food pantries, whenever they make an application to us, will need to show those issues of impact as a result. And so as we work with our food pantries, we will need to work with them to make sure that we can help them with that information so that then we can identify the amount of funds that would be available or that we can support them with. Now, the way we can support, according to the American Rescue Plan Act final plan, is either loans or grants. In our case, it would be a grant funding to offset the loss of revenue or the increased cost. And then with that, we would be able to support. So I would propose that we put together a plan that addresses how we can support, what are the requirements for support, and then try to reach out to all our food pantries that are in the county. Make sure that they're aware of the need to be a nonprofit organization, either a 501c3 or a 501c19, to be a participant in this. And with that, then come back to the commission, get that list of, I'll call it conditions approved, and then try to work with our food pantries to support. So that's just my thought. That's just an update of what is required to be able to get assistance through American Rescue Plan Act funding.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. We don't want to not have something where it's announced, where all the food pantries can participate. I do think we need to have some kind of information sheet going out to them. These are the things that you're required to produce to be on this. We definitely need to have some grading system for how we determine what the award is going to be. And of course, there's a limited amount of funds that we have available, and that needs to be taken into consideration as well. And the pantries, of course, need to understand that this is very, very likely a one-time participation. So, I know that the folks involved in the food pantries go above and beyond, and they have been extremely hit. But this is certainly not something that we can just dispense a lot of money with the understanding of more is to come. And I know there's restrictions on what the money can be spent on as well, and so we want to make sure, I know you alluded to that, and so I think we just need to do as good a job of announcing and educating people as we can.
Okay, any other comment?
No, I'm totally in agreement that we need guidelines set forth to determine the needs, and if we didn't have that, then it would be chaotic. But, with the price of food at my house, it's doubled. And I know there are people out there in the county that are having a hard time, and it's very important that we help them.
So we will try to put some information together in terms of how we can support and what the conditions or requirements for support and how they establish the basis of their funding need, and try to have that before the commission at our next meeting to take a look at.
Sounds good.
Because these pantries are in need of funding now. We continue to see the increased demand on their activities. So thanks. Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, man. I was speaking with a food pantry, and they were talking about a family that came and got food, and they actually went outside and started eating it on the sidewalk. I mean, to me, they just said it all.
Yeah. So, okay, thanks very much. And so we will bring a list together at our next meeting in new business for consideration. Next on the agenda is request to transfer a truck from our solid waste department to our maintenance department. Let me turn that over to both our Director of Solid Waste and Director of Maintenance for discussion. And I also would like to consider this discussion. I think there is an opportunity to do some surplus and turn that over for surplus sale. And so if you would address that also.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Commissioners. Right now, the maintenance department's main truck that we use is a 2008 Ford F-150. It's just north of 200,000 miles, and it started using quite a bit of oil, about a fourth of a quart every 2.5 weeks or so. I have to stay on top of it. I know that the solid waste department has got several vehicles that they were looking to get rid of, and I just thought it was a good opportunity to try to get a reliable vehicle for the maintenance department, because especially with here in the last year, I've had to drive out to Bryant several times. I've had to drive out to Paint Rock, and it'd be great to be able to get something reliable so we don't have to worry about, it breaking down. I'm just trying to get ahead of it before something big happens with the vehicle, and we don't have something to be able to service our outbuildings.
We have, let me just give you something here. Y'all have seen this list before. You'll see the trucks, it's marked pickup truck there. And everything highlighted is what we're going to sell. It's my plan to sell some of these at auction. You'll see one there listed maintenance beside it. And then below you'll see what's left. So we have an abundance of trucks. The 2019s, I believe, are the ones he's alluding to. I can get those in auction pretty quick and sell the other 3 and transfer that one to him as well. We gave $30,500 for all of the 2019.
Okay. Let me ask a question. So, and we have discussed this. This would be a transfer internal to the commission offices between 2 departments. So we would deal with that, and I think that would be a transfer action that we will work. Okay. And we'll look and make sure of that, but I believe that's the way we'll handle that. I know there's another consideration of a sale of a truck internal to the county.
So I would be interested in purchasing one for the Mapping and Appraisal Department. And I've got money in this year's budget to purchase it. So instead of a transfer, I propose to buy it from Solid Waste Department.
Okay.
And the rest of those 2019s, I have an opportunity to get these trucks. You'll see everything in yellow there, the 2 garbage trucks, surplus garbage trucks. I like to place those in surplus. Everything left besides that maintenance truck. So I could possibly get that in an auction by September the 20th. And that will leave me some older trucks on the bottom. You'll see that, but I can get the most value out of these up top. And I'll hold on to these older ones while I place an order for something to replace those.
Can you tell me which, in this line, which is the truck that would transfer to?
To you guys.
Okay, maintenance. Okay.
Maintenance.
I was looking on the
I'm looking at it
highlighted
right
trucks.
there. The one right below the one's marked.
There you go, got it.
Sorry about that. So is there any need for us to approve this? Do we need to go back into regular session to approve this transfer?
Have to clear them surplus if you haven't already done that.
I haven't.
Okay, yeah,
So
before you
when
get
is-
most of them, they'll need to be declared surplus so you can get rid of them.
So when is the surplus?
The surplus sale is September 20th.
And so
So we
next
need to
meeting
do
is the
that.
26th, so we would need to set aside the rules to, so do we have a motion to set aside the rules to consider surplusing trucks in solid waste department?
I make a motion that we set aside the rules to take this action on these surplus vehicles or potential
Okay.
surplus vehicles.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Motion carries. So with that, can we get a motion to, so let me, let one of you guys define that. We need a motion to
I'll make it.
allow, provide surplus for, do we need specific trucks identified or just surplus for?
If you've got a list, you can refer to the list, but make sure you don't surplus the maintenance, the one you're gonna
Yeah.
transfer internally.
Okay.
I've got it
And the
separate.
one that I think Mr. Arnold wants to buy.
Yeah, I've got Mr. Arnold's pulled out of this list here. He's gonna let me keep that until I get my other ones in.
So you're surplusing all the sale items on
Yes,
this
yes,
list?
sir. Yes, sir.
I would like to make a motion that we add all the sale items listed in this list to the list to be surplus.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Okay, thank you.
Like I say, guys, thank you for working together on that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's the last of our items that we have in our work session. At this time, let me go to reports from the staff. First, County Administrator. Okay, thank you for being here today and supporting this. And next, our County Engineer.
Nothing, sir, unless there are questions.
Okay, any
It's
questions?
Friday.
It's Friday, man.
Let me think about that. All the county roads.
All right.
Can you update us on 30?
Any comments from our county attorney?
No, sir.
Okay, if none, again, comments from the commission. Commissioner
The
McBride.
Sheriff's Department would like to.
Oh, Sheriff's Department, yes, sir.
Something real quick I'd like for y'all to consider. I know you're familiar with Emily's Law, which is a law that was passed a couple years ago about aggressive dogs that bite or severely injure people. We've now had our first person that has decided to take the option of building the proper fencing and security measures and to keep the dog. Usually they have them put down when they're aggressive. This will be the first person that is going with the other option. Part of that law is that, and it states that the county will receive a $100 permit fee per year. And we're trying to make sure that you understand that should go to the county, because it specifically says county, not the clerk's office. And our hope is that that might be put in an account for animal control use to help supplement their budget. It's probably not going to be much because most people are not going to choose this option. It's quite expensive, but it'll be $100 a year by these people to get permitted for this aggressive dog.
And will your office dispense the permit or do?
I believe it'll come from the commission.
Okay.
I don't think we have the authority to dispense permits other than pistol permits.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So, all right, so we would have to have some mechanism to sell the permit. So we need to get with.
And we would need to establish an account for, the account for which those funds would go into in the county. So I think this is an item we need to do some research investigation, bring that to the work session on the 26th, and then move it to vote in the following meeting.
Yeah, back up what Rocky said, that this is the first time in all of the dangerous animal cases we've had, which is the county's obligation to pursue. This is the first one that I remember that has chosen to do this and to pay the $100 per year. And they also can, after 2 years, they can petition the court to be relieved of that. And the judge, I'd be up to the judge whether he does it or not.
Okay.
And is there specs on the fencing and all?
Yes, it's all lined out by legislation.
Okay,
Correct.
very good.
There's a county ordinance also.
And it actually was, started because of the death in our county.
Okay. Okay, so we will bring that, put that on the agenda for the next meeting, work session to discuss that. Okay. Well, before I do forget, Council of Aging or County Parks, any comments?
No, sir, we've got a full park this weekend, ready for closing out a good season.
Awesome.
Okay, that is great. Thanks very much. Thanks for the work that all of you guys are doing for us across the county and the people that work in your organization. Doing a great job. Really appreciate that. Now, next, comments from the commission. District 4, Commissioner McBride.
Just want to say, enjoy your Labor Day weekend, stay safe, and take advantage of this beautiful county that we live in.
Okay, thanks. District 3, Commissioner
Yeah,
Butler.
absolutely echoing Commissioner McBride's sentiment. There's a lot going on locally. Get out, enjoy that, do it safely. Should be very good weather. I do want to thank the commission for allowing myself, Commissioner McBride, and Commissioner Rich to attend the annual conference. Very, very beneficial. Lots of good learning, and of course the best aspect of that is finally the ability to be with our other commissioners from around the state. We learn a lot from just asking them how they do and what they do, and so that was time well spent. And so I hope that you see the return on investment for allowing us to go down.
Really our first time to resource.
Yep, absolutely.
And thanks for you guys attending last week. Wish I could have been there rather than at home with COVID. So, which is, a reminder that we have seen an increase of COVID. Though thank goodness for the most part it's much less severe than it has been in the past. But be aware of that. Just a couple of reminders from me. We have posted that we will, in our last meeting in September, we will be appointing new members to two boards. One is the Alabama Mountain Lake Tourism Board, Tourism Association Board. We have one open position and so the citizens across the county, if there's interest, please just send us a letter of interest. To be considered. We will close that. I believe that is closed the Friday before the 19th of September, and we will vote on that on the 26th of September. Also, the Department of Human Resources has two board openings, and those also will close in time for us to vote at our meeting on 26th September for those filling those two positions. Last comment is we've been working for about 2 months now on our budget for 2023. We appreciate all the work that all the departments have done across the county. There's been a lot of work on that. I would propose that we hold a budget meeting on the 21st of September at 4 o'clock just to review where we are so that we're in position to vote on the 2023 budget on the 26th of September. If that date doesn't fit, sometime that week, just let us know and we will post it. And with that, our next meeting date is September the 26th. We will conduct that meeting, I would propose, at 4 o'clock for that meeting. And so with that, if I could get a motion to go into executive session to discuss status of contracts that we're in negotiations.
Make the motion that we go into executive session for the conversation about negotiations for contracts.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Do I have a second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. We will now go into executive session.